Hey y'all, it's Renee from Executive Help Now, and I just had the most incredible time with Kim Sorrelle. Y'all, she is absolutely amazing. We had so much fun talking about the business, Executive Help Now, all the services that we get to offer, and how we get to serve our clients. And it was an absolute blast. You definitely want to tune in.
Welcome to the show. I'm so happy that you're here. You're going to be so happy that you are here. I am Kim Sorrelle. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I get to do a lot of fun things in life. My favorite thing to do is to meet people, and I get to meet some of the most extraordinary people that walk the face of this earth. Today is no exception to that. Renee Hastings is someone I admire greatly. She has kind of against all odds. I love these kind of stories because it's so inspirational that anybody can do it if you just put your mind to it. And she has done it. She's very successful businesswoman. She's a speaker. She does all kinds of things too, and helps so many people. And has a heart as big as the universe. And so I've been so looking forward to this. Renee, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kim. I'm so honored to be here.
Yeah, well, I'm so happy to have you. I have been so looking forward to this, like I've said, because I do have great admiration for you. We're going to get into a lot of the reasons why as we go on. But first, I want people to get to know you. So I would love for you to tell me about 8-year-old Renee.
8-year-old Renee is the granddaughter of a sharecropper who moved his family from the south of the United States to an Amish community in Wisconsin. And when our grandfather did that, we were known in that community. For those that are listening to a podcast later and may not be able to see me, I am a Black woman. And when you are a Black family living in an Amish community and no one else around but your family looks like you, your family name becomes very, very important. And so my grandfather instilled in us at a very, very young age the importance of being people of our word, honest, reliable, dependable, doing what we say we're going to do, and having a very strong work ethic and being excellent at everything we did because our family name was on the line.
Wow. Wow. That's humongous. Very brave, your grandfather, very brave. And then what an interesting situation to be in. I live in Michigan. And so we have some Amish in Michigan and of course like northern Indiana. And so we border a lot of Amish, but there's Amish in our state as well. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a whole different way of life. And they are lily white, those
Yeah.
people. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not like you blended in. People
Not
knew who you were. Yeah, yeah.
everyone knew us.
Yeah, I guess so. So how did that work with friends, with school, with all of
So
that?
it was interesting because I really enjoyed going to school with them. So I didn't go to an Amish school, but one of the Amish families allowed their children to come to school with us. And so she
Mm.
got to ride the bus with us and it which was very different for them in their community because they just don't do that sort of thing. But she became my friend, and she actually invited me over to her home for dinner one day, and it was interesting. It was the first time I had like real milk from a cow that hadn't gone through pasteurization and everything.
How did you like that milk?
It was disgusting.
When you're not used to it, oh my word. Yeah.
No, yeah, no, I was not a fan. I
Mm.
absolutely was not a fan. And but that memory is just embedded in my brain. And it was a fun experience. I was very innocent. I didn't see color. I know some people get offended when you say you don't see color, but because it was all I'd ever known, and I'd never even been in a community of other people who looked like me, these were just people. And so I never actually developed a mindset of prejudice or anything like that because I didn't know what that was. I didn't look for anything like that because I was just one of everyone else in this community just trying to go to school and do good, you know? But then later my mom left. I'm the daughter also of a single mom, and she ended up leaving the farming community where we were. And we ended up settling in Madison, Wisconsin, which everybody knows Madison. And at that time, this is some years later, they had a summer youth employment program that the city of Madison had created to just keep the kids off the streets, give them something to do in the summers, make a little money. And as the daughter of a single mom, of course, I was all about making some extra money. I needed school clothes.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and so one of the first jobs that they gave me was at the Madison Urban League. And it was basically to expose us to work opportunities, to see where our natural gifts and skills were, and what just resonated with us. So when they placed me at the Madison Urban League, that my job there was to organize this entire room piled high and deep with books. From as far as you can see, as soon as you enter the door, there were books and books and books, hardcover, softcover, didn't matter, all mixed up. My job was to categorize them, alphabetize them, put them in some sort of form and a display that was nice and appealing, and create a log so everybody could find them. And so I would created these categories and then some subcategories and then some subcategories and created this filing system. By the end of summer, that room was fully organized. They were labeled and looked beautiful by the end of summer. I was 12, Kim.
Wow. 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 And not a trained librarian. So
No, no, not at all.
yeah. Oh my word.
Yeah, that's this whole Dewey Decimal System. Yeah, non-existent. But if it was beauty, or it was over here. If it was entertainment, it was over here. If it was fiction, it was over here. If it was sports, it was over here. You know what I mean? That's about as specific as we got back then. But it was a ton of fun, and I discovered my love for organizing. And so that was just a seed that got planted. The next year, I was placed at this place called Sorrelle Temporary Services. And Sorrelle Temporary Services, for those that don't know, I may be aging myself, is a temporary employment agency that people would go to find temporary employment. And the owner of the franchise was a Black woman, and I was her assistant. So my job was to hand out the applications to the people coming to look for work and tell them what to fill out. And then they would hand their papers back to me to type into the computer and get them into the system. And Kim, with the clickety clack of the keys, every time I heard my fingers typing and the clickety clack sound of the keys, something in my spirit just said, this is life changing work that we're doing here, because people are going to get jobs. They're going to be able to take care of their families. They're going to be able to put food on their tables. And I made an inner vow that while I was there, that I was going to one day own my own business or run an office. And I was 13.
Pretty ambitious for a 13-year-old, but I love it.
But I just saw the difference that she was making in the community. And I really wanted everything to do with that. So from that point on, I made sure when I was in school to take all of the clerical classes, all the typing, shorthand, dictation, marketing, sales, all of the offerings that they had for that type of work. I took all those classes and I ended up graduating from high school at 16 years old.
Wow. Wow.
So I was all set and ready to go build my big plan of running an office one day. But when I graduated at 16, I also had a 1-month-old son.
Mm.
So I had to put my plans on hold for just a little bit because now I had a family to take care of. But I also had 3 whole years of office experience that
Right.
I could now share with the workforce, like with a real workforce. And so I ended up applying for a job with the state of Wisconsin and got a job making great money with benefits to take care of me and my son. And it was something I just didn't even think twice about. It's just something I knew I had to do because I didn't want to be another statistic. Because when I was in school in health class, they said of all the girls in this health class, 1 in 10 of you is going to end up pregnant before the school year is out. And I said, "Oh, that's not going to be me, not going to be me." And I was like, I was a statistic because I was one of those girls who got pregnant while I was still in high school. And so they said, if you do get pregnant, you're going to end up on welfare. And so that was a statistic I did not want to be a part of. And so I said, that's not going to be me. So I went to work. I worked a full-time day job for the state of Wisconsin. I worked a part-time night job for Wisconsin Bell in the evening, so I would not become another statistic. And I didn't. I actually ended up moving out of my mom's house, her apartment, into my own apartment at 17 years old, so I could have my own independence. I do not recommend this for anyone.
Oh, that is so young. That's so young to for all of that responsibility, for all of that. But
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely. It was a lot. It was a whole lot, but it was what I felt was the best decision for me at the time, given my current family situation. And so, but I ended up in my efforts to try to not be another statistic, I ended up missing my son's first steps. I missed his first words. I missed all of these important little milestones that you just can't get back. And so I ended up marrying his father and said, okay, now you're going to go to work and you're going to take care of us. So I can be home and take care of our son because that's what you're supposed to do. You're the man of the house.
Right.
And yeah, anyways, long story short, he ended up not doing that. And we ended up on welfare. So,
Oh,
but I only used it as a temporary helper to help me get off of the system while I still learned and continued to work another job. So, and that's how I built my skill set, was continuing to work in the same field, supporting executives, supporting business owners, and learning from the ground up the things that are important to them, how they think, how they operate, all of those things. And as I continue doing these things from year after year after year, of course, you get promoted from one role to another. So from receptionist to clerical assistant to administrative assistant to the executive assistant to a director, and then maybe an executive assistant to a president, and then maybe a senior executive assistant to the CEO. And that was my trajectory from 16 all the way until I left corporate America, or started my business in 2014, doing the only thing I knew how to do, which was support executives. And that's how it all got started. And that was in 2014 that I started the business.
wow. Wow. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, so there's a whole lot to unpack there, Renee. So, okay, so you move away with your mom to Madison. So new set of friends, new set of everything, new set of it's just hard. At what age? How old were you when you moved?
When we moved to Madison, we actually ended up settling in Madison when I was about 10 or 11, I want to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard. You're leaving your friends and having to make all new friends and adapt to a new school and all that kind of stuff. But you did it, so that was good.
Yeah.
Then at 12 years old, you create a library, like you invented a library system and created a library. That's awfully amazing. And then the very next year, 13, you were typing in people's information for jobs. And I I gotta say, I don't know anyone who is clicking on the computer and doing that and going, wow, I'm helping people with their future. At 13 years old, 13-year-olds look in the mirror and that's kind of all they can see sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have a hard time thinking outside themselves because they're, I don't know, in somewhat in survival mode, getting through school, doing whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
so for you to have that heart has to come from somewhere. Where does that heart come from?
I would say that heart came from my grandfather. and my grandmother, because they were good people. They were just good and they wanted to do well. They wanted their family to be successful. They were all about the family and making a future for us. So as a sharecropper, he did end up buying some land and becoming a business owner himself and that sort of thing. So he kind of put that in me that when you work hard and you give of yourself to others and you are your true, authentic, honest self and hardworking self, then that's when you have an impact. That's when you make a difference. And I think that's where it came from.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's so admirable for your father or your grandfather to go from a sharecropper to business owner. That
Mhm.
was a rough road. Like that's not easy. Like the whole life of that is tragic, difficult, and not many people were able to come out of that
Mhm.
because of the way the system was. And so good for him. I mean,
Yeah.
amazing guy, obviously amazing role model. That's so incredible. And then so you're going along and you've got this dream and you know what you're going to do. And then you find out you're pregnant, which
Mhm.
you didn't let totally wreck your plans, obviously, but it's always amazed me. Like for the guy, doesn't really change their life, doesn't really do a thing. For the
Mhm.
woman, everything changes.
Yeah.
Everything changes. But
Yeah.
so to be able to accomplish the things, get the job that you got, have your own place at 17, all of that, that's one of the things I was talking about with you with Against All Odds. Like, I have a son who he and his fiance got pregnant at 19, got married at 19. And even with that, they'd say, oh, geez, is he going to just sweep floors the rest of his life? What is he going to do? Well, he's not. He works for NASA. His wife works for NASA. They've got 2 kids. I mean, she's got a master's. He's got 2 degrees, but against all odds, that wouldn't be statistically what would happen to somebody in that situation. Statistically, you're the same, and you didn't want to be a statistic. And I just admire that because it takes a lot of ignoring what society has to say about you,
Yeah.
right? A lot of
One.
ignoring that and saying, no, no, I'm Renee Hastings. Are you kidding me? This is what I'm going to do. So
Yeah.
I love that. Good for you. Good.
And my mom too had a lot to do with that because her immediate response, first, of course, she had high hopes for me too because I was so smart and graduated early and always did well in school. But when the shock came over, when she was over the shock of the announcement, her next words were, "Your life is not over. Just
Mm,
because you are going to have a baby at a young age does not mean your life is over. You can still do what you said you wanted to do. It's just going to be harder." And so, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. You can do whatever you put your mind to. And that's one thing she instilled in me from the time I was knee high to a duck. You can do anything that you put your mind to.
wow. Fabulous lady. And what great words. That's exactly what you needed to hear.
Yes.
Those
Yeah.
are the right words. Anybody out there in a similar situation, those are the words you use.
Yeah.
That's what you tell people. Don't hold people back. Encourage them to shoot for the moon. And we should be encouraging each other to go after our dreams and live them out and see them come to fruition. And so that's so awesome. That's so awesome. And so yeah, but it is a tough balance when you're trying to be a good mom and you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to be great at your job and you're trying to advance at the same time, not just stay, where you're at, but you go for more, go for more. It's a tough balance and something that you ran into as I've read about you and know you and have seen that you saw that there's it's hard to juggle. It's
Yeah.
hard to juggle the right way, and it's especially hard to juggle the right way with no help.
Right. Absolutely. Well, and the thing too is that when you're trying to figure out this balance of my focus wasn't so much on how high can I climb the corporate ladder. My focus was how can I make money to keep food on my table? How can I keep my kid alive? I'm only 16. I'm only 17. I just want them to keep waking up
Right, right, exactly.
and doing whatever I have to do to make that happen. And so, but the funny thing is that even though that wasn't something that I was striving for, it just kept happening anyway, because I made a decision to be my absolute best in everything I undertook, because that was my grandfather's mind that he had put in me. You be your absolute best in everything that you do, because you are a representative of this family. And he carried that to his children. My mom carried that to me. And so that was always in the back of my mind, that whatever work I produced had to represent our family well. And so as I just kept that mindset and that frame of reference, people just kept noticing me and noticing the work and saying, oh, I think you would be good doing this. Here, try that. Or I think you would be good trying this. Do this. So there's so many things and opportunities I got a chance to do because other people saw in me things that I didn't see. I wasn't looking for it. Like I said, I was just trying to keep food on the table. But great things kept happening. And I know now that it was God who kept me through all of this and bringing all the right people into my life to help me navigate this life of a teen mom on welfare and getting off of that system and actually recognizing my true value and worth and what I had to offer, and that I didn't have to stay a part of this system.
That's so good. That's so good. Yeah, well, I think that's so true. I started my first business when I was 18. So I've been in business my whole life and I love business is my gig. And you do notice the standouts, the people that are working hard, the people that are going above and beyond, the people that their work is quality, high quality, and those people will elevate. And so, you can just blend in if you want to, and when as soon as the bell rings, just punch out and run home and don't even finish the task that you're in the middle of, or you can finish it, and you can do it to the best of your ability and do great quality work. And then you're going to move up. It's just so natural because it doesn't matter who you are. If you're working hard and you're producing well, you're going to move up. It will happen. You're going to move up. And so that's kind of great advice for anybody who thinks they're stuck somewhere. Well, step up a little bit, step up what you're doing a little bit and do better and see what happens because
Yeah, and volunteer to do stuff. You
yeah.
know, stretch yourself. They asked me to coordinate an entire job fair for the city of Madison. And I was like, okay, how do we do this? And so there's a whole committee of people, and they're like, okay, and you do this part and you do this part. Yeah, I was the coordinator of all the logistics and all the vendors and all the job people who were the employers who were coming and assigning them their booths and making sure they had electricals and all of the things that they need. This was a whole thing. There were 3,000 people that showed up to this job fair. And
Wow.
I was like 20.
Oh my word. But the beauty of it is they knew you could do it. They had
Right.
confidence in you because you'd proven yourself with other work that you'd done. And so they're like, oh yeah, hey,
Yeah,
you can do this.
I found that it's really opportunities continue to come when you just keep saying yes.
Mm.
I don't think I said no to any opportunity that seemed like it was the right thing to do for us and for my family. And so I just kept saying yes. So the more you say yes, the more you get stretched and the more you expose yourself to these things that you would not otherwise be a part of. And the more you get exposed to, the greater you build a frame of reference. And the greater your frame of reference, the more value you have to add to your next employer.
Right, right. It's like building a resume. It's like,
Absolutely.
yeah, I've done that. I've done that. I know how to do this. I know how to do this. And
Yeah.
so it does. It just opens so many more doors for you
Yes.
when you have these experiences, when you say yes. And don't be afraid to say yes. I think is a lot of it, right? You have the courage to say yes and figure it out later, right? Like, can you do this? Will you do? Sure. Yeah, I'll do this. And then figure it out. Just
Exactly.
say yes and figure it out.
And it is scary. That's the thing too. It is scary. Some of the things that you get asked to do can be intimidating. But like you said, you just do it anyway. You do it afraid. I think was it Joyce Myers who said that? Do it afraid.
Yeah,
Feel the fear and do it anyway.
that's right.
Just keep on because I'm a firm believer that God wouldn't bring you to it if he's not going to get you through it.
Mm,
So he will continue to, and he always has provided me with every single thing I needed in the moments that I needed them. And I didn't know and this was before the days of Google and chat GPT and all of this. I just had wise counsel around me that I could speak to, share thoughts with, and they could speak into me. And they were the right people to give me the wisdom that I needed in that time and space. So that's
yeah,
to
that's so good.
surrounding yourself with the right community of people who will speak life and have I see in you conversations. That where they can see things in you that you may not see for yourself and encourage you to say yes.
That's so good. That's so good. I want to go back to something that you said earlier that just kind of is sticking with me, and it's about not seeing color. You know, I
Mm,
I well, I believe that in my heart. I mean, I know that I don't, but I don't ever kind of want to say that out loud because I know people can be offended by that. And it's not that I don't see the beauty in the differences of color, like the rainbow of people that we are. Like there's beauty in that. I love that. I love that we don't all look the same, that we have these physical differences and personality differences. Like I just love it all, that this great mosaic that is the people of the earth, right? Uh, but um, but at the same, so it's not a matter of not seeing color in a positive way. It's not, or in a negative way. I don't know how to say that, but it's about not seeing color in that you don't judge anybody by the way they look,
right. And I
right?
think that's the key. You just don't judge anybody by the way they look. And that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. That's when I say I don't see color, like I'm sure you're saying when you say you don't see color, it's not judging people by the way they look.
Hmm.
We're not negating all of the things that have happened in the United States of America from the beginning of time. We're
Mm.
not, that it doesn't have anything to do with that. It's just what we see when we look at a person. They are a person, they are a human with red blood and a heart that beats like you and me.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. People are people all over the world. And yeah, and the minute you label people, like I did this thing, Renee, where I lived a year, I dedicated a year to figuring out the true meaning of love. And what I figured out just blew my mind. But one of the things is that labels are not good. Like
Mm-mm.
people are not their labels that other people put on them. Uncle Harry is not a Republican, I mean, he's Uncle Harry. You
Right,
might not agree with his politics. Aunt Lucy is not a Democrat. She's Aunt Lucy. You might not agree with her politics, but that's not who they are. That's kind of like a club they belong to. And
right.
so, we should be looking at people as individuals, period, because we are all so unique and we have our own set of giftings and our own set of history, our own set of experiences, right? That we bring with us to today, every day leading up to today, that give us strength, give us wisdom, give us tools that we need to take the next step. And so, yeah, look at people as people, realize that it's Kim and Renee,
Yeah,
that's who we are. We might carry monikers like speaker or entrepreneur, but really it comes down to we're Kim and Renee.
exactly. And carrying that a step further, not just color, but age.
Mm,
When
mhm.
we see younger people, so I'm a older person.
Gosh, you look like you're, 35, but yes.
Thank you. You are kind. See you. Um, but some older people look at younger people with such disdain or such like looking down on them because of their youth. And that's that's not scriptural, because that's what we're told not to do. You don't look on, hey, Paul told Timothy, don't let them look down on your, don't look down on your youth, because you have gifts and skills and talents. And I'm trusting you to carry out this message, this ministry. And so when we think about young people, or when young people think about older people, we still need to recognize their value and their worth and the contributions that they make to this whole entire world society. So that's another, and not seeing color. I also try really hard not to see age. And if I do, it's only for the benefit of sharing wisdom that I've already gleaned. If they're willing to listen and take it, I'm happy to offer it. But it's not something that I try to force or hold over them like a weight, like to demean them or make them feel less than or small just because they're young. I think that that's wrong.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And it does go both ways, younger and older, right? And
Yeah.
I look at it sometimes, Renee, and I think we are missing we're missing the boat in that we people often retire in their 60s or whenever it is they decide to retire, and then they become their label becomes retiree when they were just CEO of McDonald's,
Mhm.
or whatever it was that they were doing, an anesthesiologist or a baker, whatever it was. Well, it's almost like those things get dismissed. Well, if we tapped into that wisdom that is people who are retired but did things in their life that they have to share. Oh my word. I mean, I just think we should
Yeah.
be tapping into that wisdom and recognizing that just because somebody's retired, don't dismiss them, and recognize that they've lived more years than you have perhaps, and might know something more than you do. And so, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things too, someone said to me recently, if you don't have a 30-year-old mentor, you are missing the boat.
Interesting.
And that's what I said. I was like, I have never, ever thought those thoughts. So the value, even though I don't look down on young people, I never realized the wealth of knowledge that they have that they can add to my life, because
Yeah.
their frame of reference and how they handle situations or how they deal with things, or the mind that they have of their people, their peers. I don't have that mind anymore, and times have definitely changed. So they can speak into that space that I completely am unaware of and oblivious to. And that too enhances my life because of the perspective that they bring. So I need to find a 30-year-old mentor.
Well, if I come across one, I'll be sure to let you know, somebody that would be good for you. Yeah, that's so interesting because I've never really thought about it going that way either, but it does make so much sense. I mean,
Yeah.
as you are an entrepreneur and you have people working for you, we come from where we come from. The days that we've traveled, we come from those days, and we're in a different place than we were when we were 30, and it can be pretty easy to forget what 30 was like. And 30 today, different than 30 when we were 30.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%, like night and day.
Yeah, so true. So true. So now you have done all these things and you decided, I just need to help people. I just have a heart to help people. And how can I help people the best? And you saw issues going on, right, in people's lives, and wanted to solve those. And so I would love for you to talk about that, about what you saw and what you did about it.
Yeah. So as I'm working in corporate America, all of these years and working my way up and supporting um, Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies, executives, and that sort of thing, and being their confidant, because I don't know if people realize that they say it's lonely at the top. There's trueness to that. And really high level executives don't have a lot of people that they can talk to or confide in the way they can their assistant. And so they see us as a safe place where they can vent or they can share or whatever those things are, and know that no one else will ever hear those words uttered outside of those four walls and the two of them. And it's just a special relationship that I grew to really appreciate and value. And my executives valued it as well. And so it was easy for me to not only be there for them, but also to receive, if they had counsel for me, if they saw a blind spot, a place where I might need to improve, I was eagerly willing to accept that counsel from them because I knew it came from a place of them wanting the best for me, whether I was their assistant or somebody else's. And so as those relationships continued or kept growing over the years with my executives, the time came when I was meeting with a friend and she said, you're supposed to own your own business, right? And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm quite happy here in corporate America with my 2 paid vacation and my paid health insurance benefits.
Right.
And what ended up being 3 weeks because of how long I was there. Yeah. No, but Kim, it just takes someone planting a seed for something to just kind of germinate a little bit. And she mentioned that to me in 2012. And I was like, nope, completely against it. But the more I kept working and the more I kept dealing with, bosses that were not so nice and, gave me a hard time and made life hard for me, the more I kept thinking about, well, maybe she could be onto something. And so by 2014, I started to just kind of dip my toe in the water. I still had my full-time day job for the security because stability and security is something that became very important to me, considering my upbringing and early life of parenting and all that. So stability and security, it was my security. And so I still opened the business, took on a couple clients of my own to see if I could do what I did during the day at night for my own clients. And I could. And, by this time, my kids are, uh, grown and gone. And it's just me in these four walls with still this passion to help people and be their person. And recently, the words that have been falling into my spirit is the value I feel in being somebody's answered prayer.
Mm.
That's the way I look at this business. Somebody is saying, I need help. Father, I need help. And then here we come along, able to offer the help. It's an answered prayer. And I really love how God is using us to do that, to be that for people getting, whether they're in kingdom business or they're running other corporations or nonprofit. That's the way the business started. We were just helping everyone who needed help, and it started out just me, and it was while I was working with my corporate job. But eventually my clients kept telling their friends about the support they were getting. And I couldn't do it. I was going to work from 8 to 5, come home. I'm in Atlanta, so the traffic is horrible. Get home about 6 and try to cook a meal for my husband. Never got really good at that. Still working on it. Pray for and then
Pray for you or pray for him?
But then I'd start working on the business at like 7 or 8 at night and wouldn't get to bed till like 2 or 3 in the morning, then take a nap so I could get up at 6 to be back at work at 8 again. And Kim, I did this for months and months and months on end, and I was tired. And the quality of my work started to suffer. We know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's bound to. I mean,
Yeah.
Sleep is kind of important.
Yes.
And yeah, and balance is so important. And there was no balance at that moment in your life.
No balance at all. And because of how important our high quality work ethic was from being, grown up, that your work is everything. I immediately said, look, I spoke to my uncle who was a retired IBM executive. And I explained to him what was happening. He's like, that's not sustainable, right? He said, your body is going to sit you down, whether you like it or not, if you don't make some changes. You need to get some help. So I hired my first assistant in 2020. And when I tell you what a game changer it was for me and my own life to be able to delegate the work that was coming in for me, I would get an email. It asked me to do something. I'd forward it. Her name is Ashley. And I'd say, hey, Ashley, please assist, period. Thanks, exclamation point. And I'm done. I did that all day long. And Ashley was able to lighten my load. So when I got home at night, all I had to do was check a couple things, check in with Ashley, see how things were going, if she needed anything from me, where we were with the client and this other thing. And she would fill me in, give me a recap and update on the day. And it was just a wonderful feeling to be able to go to bed at 10 o'clock at night and sleep all the way through the whole night and not have to get up till 6. That's like 8 whole hours. I remember when I first got 5 hours of sleep. And I was so excited about my 5 hours that I got as opposed to the 3.
Oh my. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. Okay. So I think, you and I are alike in a lot of ways. And, when you're in a position like we are, and you are in charge and you have staff and whatever,
Mhm.
we can do it all. Like we know we can do it all. And there can be a tendency to say, well, how do I know they're going to do it the right way? How do I know they're going to do it like I want them to do it? How do I know, that the client's going to be happy, whatever? What can I let go of? But you have to be able to let go. But did you struggle with that at all?
Oh, did I struggle? Man alive. I tell you, when it, and one of the things in being in this position to be able to delegate, it revealed in me some trust issues that I didn't even know I had because I was like, I'm opening up my whole world to this person that I hardly know, but she came highly recommended. When I interviewed her, I asked her questions, and the way she responded to those questions was exactly the same way I would respond to those questions if somebody was asking me. And so I knew that the way we thought about systems and processes and supporting executives and what it looks like, we were two peas in a pod. And she would even do some stuff I never even thought to do.
Nice.
Yes, okay, this is definitely going to work because she knows what she's doing. And then I gave her a few things to start with to handle. She handled them like the absolute pro that she is. And the more I gave to her, and the more she continuously, repeatedly did work with excellence and with on the same level of excellence and standard that I have, the more I felt comfortable giving her more and more and more. So our trust got built quickly because she responded so appropriately every single time I gave her something. And that may not be everyone's experience though, but I would encourage people to give it some time, give that trust time to build by adding a little bit at a time, making sure that they get what it is that you're saying, that they understand you, they understand why, and then so that they can be the best support person for you. That takes patience, that takes communication, that takes not assuming that people can read your mind.
They can't. Yeah. Oh my gosh, so true. I mean, training is a blessing and a curse, right? If you train somebody well, you take the time and you really train somebody well, then you makes your job so much easier. If you're
Wonderful.
too hurried to train and just make assumptions that they ought to be able to just do it, or it's easy for you, it should be easy for them, or you know it, why don't they know it, or whatever, you're going to struggle with that person probably the whole time they work for you. But if you take the time to really train, which I have to admit was one of my weak points just because of the time that it takes.
Mm.
Because like when I'm already feeling stretched for time, and then if I have to spend all this time then training, but I've learned over the years that that's some of the most valuable time you can spend.
Yes, 100%. Because the time that you invest in the beginning is time that you're buying back later. And
Mhm.
that's the way that you need to think about it. Because then, does it make more sense for this person to do this work or for you to do this work? When you think about the value that you bring to the company, if you are paid on an hourly basis, $300 an hour, should you be checking your email? Should you be scheduling an appointment? These are things that you need to think about in the value of your own time. So that investment in the beginning is priceless, because once your assistant knows and understands, they can take that completely 100% off of you, and it's something you don't have to deal with anymore, or you just check in every now and then for an update. But if you don't take the time with them and you're saying, oh, you're just frustrated, just forget it, and then you end up hiring somebody else, you're going to get frustrated again.
Right.
Because you're going to not do it again. Whereas if you just stuck with the same person, you'd be that much further down the road with
Mhm.
that person, because they now get you, they get the task, because you've trained them well, you've answered all their questions thoroughly. So now they understand and they can now be of greater value to you.
Right, absolutely. Which also takes us a step back farther in the interview process.
Yeah.
So, do your due diligence. It can be so easy. I got advice years ago from somebody. I had this grocery store in St. Croix for a while and needed a manager.
Mhm.
And I was doing it with my dad. And my dad interviewed a guy that came in, and he was like, well, the Lord showed me this ad. He brought me to this. And my dad was like, oh, okay. Well, probably the worst hire we ever made in our lives. It was a very fast hire
Mhm.
because he felt like God pointed him in that direction. Well, I think, he had his aim wrong because that was not the job for him. But we hired fast. And
Mm.
then we tried to work with them, and we fired slow. And really the opposite should be the way you do it. You hire slow.
Yeah.
And I know somebody who, one of the pieces of advice that they give is that you want to talk to somebody 3 times before you hire them.
Mm.
You
Wow.
want to talk to them 3 times, and
Yeah.
you want other people to talk to them for you if you're able to do that as well. But because you do, the first meeting can be all, this is great, and they brought me some candy. I mean, I don't know, whatever. But you get to know them more as you talk to them more, and
Mm.
it might be a pain in the neck for them and for you, but man, it can make all the difference in the world in hiring the right person.
100%. And in our hiring process, I I use we have a values-based interview that we do, and I send them along with this after they if they make it through from the pre-screening and they make it through all of the skills testing, then the values part of the interview is the one that they have with me. And I send them a list of 100 different values, and I ask them to circle the things that are five that are most important to them. And we talk about them, because if our values don't align and the way we think and how we operate don't align, then you can't be a good part of my team. I don't want to introduce any nonsense that you might be thinking into our team, because it just takes one rotten apple to spoil the bunch. And so that is something that's important to me, and a aspect of the interview process that it's like, how you have different parts, like this part is worth 10% and this part is worth 20% or whatever. Yeah, that's like 75%.
Yeah, right, right, right. No, so true. Yeah, no, that's really good. That's great advice for anybody to do that because your values do need to align. You need to know that you're playing with somebody who thinks like you do and believes like you do. That is so important, so good.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it helps me understand how they would treat our clients. And so it speaks into that a lot. And that's one of the things that is most important to me, is making sure that anyone on our team is going to take care of our clients, and serve them with a servant's heart and with that servant mentality and mindset, and that is an honored, and feels that that's an honored spot and an honored role to have, and take pride in that. So all those things are super important in making sure that we get good people on the team so I can make great matches to the
Yeah,
team.
that's so good. That's so good. So, if we're talking to anybody out there who's overwhelmed, which nobody's overwhelmed, or everybody's probably overwhelmed at least some point in their life, right? Like,
Right.
what's some great advice for people who are whatever? Maybe they're a coach, maybe they're a mentor, maybe they're working for somebody else. I mean, whatever it happens to be, they've got their family, they've got whatever going in life. There's kids are playing soccer, I don't know, anything, just all the stuff in life that adds up to crazy days where you're only sleeping 4 hours a night. What kind of advice do you have for people, anybody?
A piece of advice that I would have for someone in that position would be to do a self-analysis of why they don't allow someone to take care of them.
Mm.
Because if they allowed someone else into their life, excuse me, to take care of them, to help them, then they would feel all this relief. There would be more work-life balance. There would be more peace. There'd be more sleep. But something is keeping them from bringing in that help. Is it that they don't feel that they're worthy? Do they not feel like they deserve it? Do they feel like that it's too much of a sacrifice, that they're too much to have this kind of sacrifice? What is it? Get to the root of that. Get healed and hire somebody.
Right, right. Yeah, control, I imagine, can play a role as well.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
right? Be able to release some control to somebody else. I've seen that even in marriages where we've been taught these roles, roles have been sort of demonstrated to us. And as the woman, this is our role. As a man, this is our role. And we're in 2025 and roles have shifted.
Yes.
And I have had friends who are afraid to ask their husband to help with laundry
Mm,
or, do something other than take out the trash and mow the lawn. Right. And
right.
it's like, well, there's not a reason to not. Like, you should be a partnership and you should be able to ask. And I have to say, as a woman who was married for almost 29 years before my husband passed away, men don't always know. They don't always see things. They don't
Right.
always see that things need to be done. My
Right.
husband was great about it when I pointed out, "Hey, baby, can you empty the dishwasher?" But he wouldn't just on his own notice perhaps that the dishwasher needed emptying. So
Right.
it's okay. It's all right to be able to say, "Hey, I need help with the laundry. I need help with whatever it is," and figure stuff out and be a good partner that way and relinquish some of the control that you have
Yeah.
over the household, that you have over the kids, whatever it is, and
Mhm.
let your husband be a joint partner in the enterprise that is your family.
That's right. I love the way you put that. And first of all, congratulations on 29 years of marriage. That is not an easy feat these days, and I'm so sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you.
But one of the things too, that if your husband isn't available, is it in the budget to get a housekeeper, someone to come in and clean the house, or someone to come in and do the laundry and maybe even cook a meal?
Mhm.
Those are things that you can also delegate within your home to lighten your load. And, we at Executive Help Now offer personal assistance as well as executive assistance. So whether you need work at home or you need work in the office, those are both places that we can support our clients. And we have several high level executive women who are single moms, and we do that for them. They're like, my kid needs a haircut. The long guy needs to get paid. Can you pay these bills for me? All those things. And we do that. We're happy to do that for them.
Yeah, well, the thing that happens too is that when you have that help and you're you don't have to just run to the bathtub and hop in a bubble bath to try to stay sane again, but you can just be sane in
Mhm.
general, in life in general. You're
Mhm.
more productive and
Absolutely.
good things happen in your life. And maybe then it gives you opportunity to uh, give more value to your work or
Yeah,
give more value to your home and move up in life or do whatever. I mean, it just frees you for new opportunities
yeah.
and new goodness to come into your life.
Exactly. That is so well said. And we've had clients say to us, I used to just spend all my time putting out fires because I was drinking from a fire hose with all the different things that had to be done in the business. Now, since I brought you guys on and you're basically an extension of me, I don't, you guys are handling all these things that used to be fires. And now I can actually think about the future. I can actually put a strategy together for what my future is going to look like. I have time to actually think these thoughts, and it's thanks to you guys.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so good. That's so good. And not every company that does what you do is like your company. The way that you go about it, the way you go about your hiring, even with thinking about values and how important that is to be sharing like values and the way that you see your clients as you get to serve them.
Yeah,
It's an honor to serve them.
yeah,
You know, it's not we're just doing this job for people, but you really care and your staff really cares and when you care, I think too, it's a different level of service.
yes.
When you really care about what it is that you're doing and you really value what you're doing. And so you're a very unique a company in that way. And everybody in the world should hire you. So you better start hiring more staff in and figuring out their values because you should you should be working for everybody. I mean, it's the way you run your company is the way a company should be run. The
Um,
heart that you bring in, you know, so often I think we have to separate ourselves from our business. You know, we're this way at work and we're this way at home. And no, you're still the same person. And so you're going to bring the same values, you're going to bring the same temperament, you're going to bring the same whatever it is about you is going to be at the workplace and at home. You're not a robot. You're a person, and you're a person. You're the same person no matter where you are. And it's one of the things I love about you, Renee, is that you're the same. You're the same. You don't put on anything. You don't pretend to be anything. You are who you are. You own it. You own your genius. You know what you're great at. You know how to do it right. You know how to serve people in the best possible way, and have a family and serve them and love on them and have friends and love on them and you are the example of what a woman entrepreneur should be.
Thank you so much. Oh, my soul is just filled. Thank you. Thank you so much for blessing me with those kind words. I truly am blessed. God has truly blessed me with this amazing business and this incredible team. Um, and I'm honored to serve whoever he brings into us.
Yeah, that is so awesome, and it's true. I mean, it's I've known a lot of people over my years, and some people just stand out, and you're certainly someone who just stands out. And so, you know, and thank you for what you do. Thanks for helping people, and I think a lot of what you do that I have seen is that you help people realize not you don't just help people, you don't just serve people, but you help people realize that they need somebody to help them.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. We honestly, truly love what we do, and it is an honor to serve, and we love it.
So if somebody wants to meet you and say, yes, I need help, I admit it, you know, I need this, I need some help. How do they go about that?
Well, they can certainly go to our website at executivehelpnow.org. We're not a nonprofit, but it's still .org. That's a whole nother story for another day. But executivehelpnow.org is the best place. It has all of the information about who we are, what we do, how we serve, and a box to click on to learn more. And that will schedule some time with me. that I'm happy to meet with folks to learn and understand their current situation. We're also on all the socials. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's called Renee Speaks, and where we talk business with other entrepreneurs to help people along their entrepreneurial journey. But at Executive Help now at LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all of those.
Yeah. And if somebody is listening that's saying, I want that job, like that's my heart. That's how I feel. I want to do that. And somebody's interested in becoming part of your staff. How does that work for them?
Yeah, on the website. Yeah, there's a little button that says join us.
Yeah, but only join if you're serious about it. Like if you gotta be the right person uh,
Right.
in any organization. You need to be the right person, and if you've got a heart like Renee's and you share her values, then click the button and are interested in helping, then click the button. So that's so cool. So, and how are you liking business? I mean, you've been in business for 11 years now.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
which is
I
amazing already.
I let go of my corporate job in 3 years ago. And I've been 100% in the business, working on the business for the past 3 years, 100%. And these have been the three best, most exciting years of my entire life. And I've been around a long time. And God just keeps on showing up, showing out, blessing us with opportunities, opening doors, and doors I never even imagined, exposing me to things that I had never could only dream of. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity to lead. I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve. And Q4 is going to be even more exciting for an announcement that we're going to be making. So definitely stay in touch with us so you're one of the first to know what's going to happen in Q4 this year.
Ah, very exciting. Good for you. It's so exciting. Well, this has been a joy. Thank you so much for joining me today and everything that you shared and wisdom that you dropped. I so appreciate it so much.
Absolutely. I loved being a part of your show. You're an amazing host. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you. That's sweet. And thank you everybody for joining us. And I'm sure you got as much out of this as I did. This was so fun with Renee. Get in touch with her. We'll have everything in the show notes as well so that you can click and go right to where you need to go. And I just want to say that until we see each other again, I pray that you keep your heart open and you live your love loud.